Let's start off with Justin Turner, the second bat the Mariners added at this deadline. So here's the couple things that Justin Turner's going to bring. So he's going to play first base / DH, which is where he's played in his first game playing tonight in a Mariners uniform. He played first base. He's going to make a lot of contact. He's not going to hit the ball incredibly hard. He walks a decent amount, and he's on a stretch since June 1st where he's nearly reaching base 40% of the time. It's not slug, but reaching base, hitting for batting average, hitting for batting average, reaching base, and more importantly, just not getting out, which is very important. And in the perspective of the Mariners trade deadline, he is essentially the third bat they were aiming for. This was the level of bat I think you were aiming for as your third addition at this trade deadline, and he comes pretty cheap for the trade package they gave up for him.
How would it sound to Mariners fans if a week ago, when they were in the middle of scoring 3 runs across 3 games in total against the Angels, I were to tell you that by the end of the trade deadline, you were going to acquire 2 bats that from June and on have a WRC plus above 130, each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is what Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner are. He's reaching base at nearly a 400 clip since June 1st, and he also has a WRC plus of 134. That is really good. Now, Randy's is even higher because he's been just scorched earth hot since June. But Justin Turner, while he's not going to hit for a lot of power because at 39 years old, his power is basically gone, and a lot of his expected numbers and his peripherals will show that if you look at his Savant page. That does not mean he's not impactful, and that does not mean he's not going to provide value, because he is. He still gets on base. He does not strike out. Oh, my goodness. Could you, when you saw Justin Turner's page and you saw that he only strikes out 17% of the time for the year, like, could you even comprehend that at all? Like, the Mariners have a hitter that's going to strike out under 20% of the time, but also walks a lot and also is still going to be effective with his bat.
It's pretty crazy.
Uh-huh.
It's quite a balance. It's for not a hitter we've seen on the Mariners roster this year, that's for sure.
No.
And in simpler terms, what he takes over at first base in the Ty France role is he adds about 15% of value with the bat more than Ty France did. And that's important. And that's ultimately the significant part if we're going to nitpick, what he does well here, what he does well there. Overall offensive production-wise, it's about a 15% upgrade from Ty France, which is what you want. Now, here's what you hope for Justin Turner. Since he's 39 and he's played, as of yesterday, he played 90 out of the first 106 games the Blue Jays played. So let's make that 91 out of 107 games as of tonight's game that he's played. That is a lot of games for a 39-year-old. If he's on his feet, even DHing, that will certainly wear on some guys. Not every guy will age gracefully into the season, and you hope that he doesn't endure a cold streak like he did in May. So he got off to a really hot start this season in April. He had a 150 WRC plus, where he actually slugged a decent amount. He hit 4 of his 6 home runs that month. But then he got to May. He had a 7 WRC plus. 7. Mm-hmm. Now he bounced back in June, 167, reached base 46% of the time. That's pretty good. But what he's shown is that he can be streaky in his older age. And it doesn't help, again, some of these fly balls that his younger self would put over the fence are now being caught for outs, so he's got to be more consistent with line drives, hitting the ball in the right hole in the infield, etc. And, we've kind of seen that with the little bit more of streakiness that he has as a hitter. But, again, Mariners don't have many hitters that have put up a 150 or a 167 WRC plus in a month. So, however it comes, you got to take it.
And here's the good news, too. You're asking for 2 months of this. You're not asking for Justin Turner to have 2.5 good years in Seattle at 39 years old. You are asking for 2 months. Can you be a 105 WRC plus hitter? Can you be slightly above league average for us? Can you continue to walk? Can you not strike out? Can you put the ball in play? Something that is going to be such a breath of fresh air for this lineup. Can you do that for 2 months and potentially the postseason? And that's all we're asking for. Justin Turner may retire at the end of this year. He's going to be 40 next year. We don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if this is his last run. So they are asking for 2 months. that is not a crazy ask to say for 2 months, can you be slightly above league average? And I think he can be. Yeah, he's streaky, but I think he can be.
What I like about his hitting profile is he hasn't really let his age affect his approach. It's affecting the results he's had hitting the baseball, but it has not affected the approach he's had at the plate. He's had seasons in his career once he got to LA, because he was a slow starter with the Mets, got to Los Angeles in 2013. 13 or 14 he broke out.
One of those years. And then it was just all systems go from there.
Consistency. He would be a guy at his peak who would strike out as much as he would walk, and that would be the approach that has essentially carried him through his career with some semi-decent power, but overall the approach at the plate has just been so unbelievable, and the control of the strike zone's been that good that has carried him. And the control of the strike zone, even though he is not making... he's not hitting the ball with as much authority, and pitchers continue to probably be a little bit more aggressive with him because of that, hasn't affected his approach at the plate at all. And, with some guys like Mitch Garver on your own roster who's seeing some struggles, adjustments in a new environment, and adjustments with aging, not that his approach has changed a little bit because he hasn't been hitting breaking balls as much, for example, as we've highlighted. But Turner, on the macro level, hasn't really let that affect his approach all that much. And frankly, that's what the Mariners need, because what they need is someone who does what he does. Doesn't whiff, walks at an above-average rate, strikes out at a below-average rate, and is a great clubhouse guy, too. Fantastic clubhouse guy. We can't wait to get him on the mic. He's going to be good.
We've heard nothing but great things about him. So we have a couple friends from ASU that are huge Dodgers fans and loved him to death when he was in LA. By the way, did you say 2014? By the way, because I just confirmed it. That's when he. That's when
it was 13 or 14.
So no, I just looked. He got to LA in 14, and that's when he broke out. So Anyway, they love Justin Turner in his time there. And then we have a friend who's in the Boston area too. And she was talking about the same thing, that she's like, you guys are going to love Justin Turner. He's awesome. So I think that's those are just a couple of people that we're hearing it from. And if we're hearing it from people kind of from afar, I think that's probably going to say some pretty good things about who he is as a guy and what he's going to do in that clubhouse, which will be great. All the help you can get. And he's great in the postseason. Yeah. Justin Turner's really, really good in the postseason. That's been a trend, too, with the guys they've acquired, is Randy and Turner both have really good postseason success. Now, Randy's, historic, but Turner has a career 830 OPS in the postseason.
And he's destroyed the Astros and Rangers this year.
Right?
Friend of the show, Jason Stark, highlighted this. He's been to the plate 32 times against the Astros and Rangers this year and has reached base 17 times.
We'll take it. Yeah, we'll take it.
So here's the last thought I have on Justin Turner. He is essentially, so he's older than Ty France, but he's pretty much just with slightly less power what the Mariners wanted from Ty France this year, and what they want from the idea of Ty France as a baseball player.
Yeah.
So and now they're acquiring it at the trade deadline instead.
And if you can get that for 2 months from Turner and then some of the postseason too, that's great. That's all you can ask for. Then come the offseason, you can figure out a long-term solution at first base going forward. But you have got your solution here in 2024 for the guy that you expect to be very productive at the first base spot, which is great.